Well, hello, folks. Welcome to this episode of Folks Unfettered. I'm your host, Gene Folks, and we are really excited about this episode. We have the CTO of Elevator Technologies, Chad Tongo. He has joined us here remotely to discuss the new initiative that he and his organization are doing. And I'm really excited because Chad and I are going to kick off a new segment for the Folks Unfettered show where he's going to be talking about the Lverse and the initiatives that he and the organization are doing. And so I just wanted to welcome him to the program. Thank you for your time, Chad. I know we had some glitches this morning, but we seem to work it out. So how are you this morning?
Doing quite well, Gene. I appreciate it. And I just don't want to seem smarter than what I am, because I'm not. I'm actually the COO, not the CTO. So
thank you for that. I appreciate it.
No problem. We'll give that credit to my colleague Alex.
Sure. So you and I have had discussions about the metaverse, and I read your white paper on the topic. So share with the audience what we're going to be doing during your segments in educating people on the metaverse, where your organization has positioned itself within that growing sector. And so share with us what you're going to be doing for us in the audience as far as bringing that information to the forefront and how people can participate in this growing dimension, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done a rather interesting white paper on what the applications of remote and virtual work has been for essentially the entire global population. And what we found is some pretty intriguing and I'd like to say mind-blowing feedback with regards to how it affects green initiatives, right? Reduce carbon emissions. Also, some pretty significant cost savings with regards to real estate assets for corporations and businesses alike. And then in addition to that, personal savings also from an employee standpoint. So there are a lot of positive components to virtual remote hybrid, I'd say, environment. But one thing that we are focused on in Elevator Technologies is not only providing that platform, but the accountability. Being able to provide accountability within our software, within our technology, without employees having to download any sort of spyware into their computer, if you will. So it's going to be an interesting segment, and even a whole what do you call this, Gene, that we're doing right now, topic discussion, right?
Right. Yeah. I think that, Chad, it's interesting because as I've done research on it and what made it so attractive, what your initiative, what you guys are doing at Elevator Technologies is the fact your willingness to really bring it to the masses. There seems to be this sort of mystique around the metaverse, and unless you're like me, I tend to be an early adopter, but there's courses you can go and get that information, but you have to first be aware of it. And so it's really interesting that you are bringing your organizations working on initiatives to bring that to the masses, to educate that. And so what I hope to do during our segments is to spend time with you, a thought leader in this space, on an ongoing basis to bring education, information, and participation among those that have an interest in it, because there's a lot of opportunities, as you and I have discussed, to bring equity into the workspace in a way that I don't believe we've ever been able to do before, especially as I was just mentioning to you, we have multi-generational workers in organizations, and then their lives have suddenly changed. I think the pandemic, as unsettling as it was, presented a very unique opportunity, right, for organizations like yours to step up and say, hey, we see a potential solution to a problem, and so let us bring that to your attention. And so this is where you and I, Elevator Technologies and the Folks Unfettered show, is partnering on an ongoing basis to bring a series of educational opportunities and participation opportunities for people to really take a part of this growing universe, if you will. So
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. It's not a 1, 2, 3 part series, folks. This is going to be actually ongoing, and so we want you to jump on the train early so that you can have access to this. It's almost, and I'll just say this for a second, Chad. It's almost, if you remember the gold rush, the great gold rush, people went out to
yes,
go and they were
yes,
goal. That's really what technology is bringing to the table, to have access to organizations who want to lead in that fact. It's coming whether we want it to or not. And so to be able to have, what I like about what Elver Technology is, you guys aren't forgetting the people behind the process, right? That you're really integrating this idea of technology and the human factor in a way that actually will positively impact the lives of other people. So I thought that it was important enough, and during our discussions, to provide a platform to where we can have these conversations, a sort of dedicated resource where people can come to and go, I can hit this segment, or I can go to part 2, or I can hit part 3. And so we'll be there for them as their trusted metaverse advisor, if you will, to
sure.
help build that out, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There'll be a lot of things that we'll be able to unpack.
I lost you there for a second,
Can
Chad.
you hear me just fine? Am I around still, Gene? Gotta love technology. Am I still there?
Maybe it's me.
Okay. Can you hear me just fine? I can hear you.
Maybe it's me. I don't know if I can hear you.
Okay. I can hear you.
Are you there?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Gotta love technology right there.
Are you there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There we go. Okay, so it was my headsets. So folks had a little technical difficulty with my headset. So Chad, please continue.
Yeah, yeah. So we're definitely going to be able to unpack a lot of topics that's going to be highly applicable from a consumer and a business owner standpoint, and what they can expect forthcoming from the virtual metaverse industry. And to your point, I really like what you said there. I think this chat, this segment that we're endeavoring in, is going to demystify a lot of what the metaverse is, and it's what it's known for currently. It's essentially garnered I'd like to say, credibility within the gaming industry. That is just a game, right? It's a software that looks like a game, and there's no real life utility behind it. And what we're doing here, Gene, is we're pushing all that aside. Not necessarily saying it's not applicable, but we're reimagining the usage of it and bringing it forth to the business community, and how we can best utilize it for the betterment of our operations, betterment of our growth initiatives, and ultimately increase earning potentials in all aspects of each organization.
That's awesome, and I like what you said there. Explain what you mean by expanding those opportunities throughout not only just the organization, but also bringing it to Main Street, if you will.
Yeah.
Your key initiatives there at Elvar Technologies.
Yeah, yeah. So we've seen transpire throughout the whole, pandemic, a significant rise in virtual conferencing and video conferencing, so on and so forth. We believe that the usage of the metaverse within the next 3 to 5 years will actually be that's kind of mainstream usage. The reason I say that is it's only it's a natural progression, lack of a better term here, for people to want to be curious as to what a virtual space may look like and what it feels like. What would it feel like to interact, to conduct business, to do sales calls and conferences, so on and so forth within the virtual world. In addition to that, there are pre-existing technologies such as ours that have video conferencing capabilities within the virtual realm, which allows adoption to essentially take place from a mainstream perspective. We're so used to doing this now, And for that type of technology to be available within the virtual realm, it's only a matter of time because people are going to be curious, Gene.
You're absolutely right. And one of the things that as I was listening to you that actually resonates with me is some of the, you hear all these crazy memes, right? And I won't mention other platforms by name, but where people are, they don't really, since they're remote workers, it seems to be a sort of casual, lax attitude as far as from dress code to how they address their coworkers. You got the story of people with curls in their hair and their robes on, or men that are wearing suit tops but no pants. And so what I really hope to to bring about in the series, which I think you guys will do.
Join your host as he engages in unfettered conversation with folks sharing their perspective on how businesses, political policies, technology, and world events impact their families and communities. If you want to turn your thoughts into actions, listen to the Brother of Light, dropping wisdom in your left ear and knowledge in your right.
But how do you handle that? Like what sets Elevator Technology apart from other platforms that are, that are, I don't believe that are really addressing that as quickly as you guys are?
Yeah, in terms of our market approach and overall value prop, Gene, it just comes down to bringing a next level type of interaction within the virtual workspace. We've heard the terms Zoom fatigue and static interaction, where it's just this. There's some sort of, even though we're not using VR goggles at this point, because I believe my personal opinion, the hardware is too cumbersome.
Agreed.
Yeah. There's immersion that's happening when you're using an avatar, to walk around, to chat with people, to enter an office, to shake one's hand. And per se, you for some reason you want to see their face, you click a button, and here goes a video conferencing tool that comes up. So there's a level there of immersion that current virtual work tools and software doesn't currently have. And that's awesome. That's our, that's kind of our niche at this point.
Right. That's awesome. So throughout this, and I thank you for your time, because I know you really crunched me in your time, and I know you're really appreciate having you on the program. Looking forward to our ongoing conversations. What do you hope that our audience will take away from our conversations? Like, what is our Elevator Technology's objective as far as the information you want to disseminate to our growing audience, and even those people that are looking for a resource from an expert such as yourself, and how that works? So would you walk us through how you see our conversations going, and what you hope the audience would take away from having access to someone like you?
Sure. I think ultimately, Gene, my goal being a part of this series with you is to bring much color into not only the positives, right, the upsides of remote work, virtual, and what that future looks like in the next 3 to 5 years, but what type of technology usage and immersion is forthcoming, and then to provide also insight as to what they're going to be seeing from an enterprise and middle market standpoint. They'll be seeing certain companies pushing out virtual initiatives, and then for them to hopefully not get surprised by it and not be left behind, if you will. It's pretty incredible that it was only, I'd say, 2008, and I remember this clearly, and I'm not referring to the financial crisis, but 2008 when Facebook really started taking off. And not a single business, and I say this in an intro video that we've done for Elevair, but not a single business thought that they needed to be on social media. But we've seen a transcendence of what social media has done in transforming businesses globally. But now we can't even find a single business out there without social media. It's non-existent. And if you're not on digital, then you're not doing business, essentially, right? So the progression, I'm a believer in the progression where we're going. And my hope and my goal is for our listeners, your network, to be able to get the insight that they need as to what's forthcoming, in this virtual realm.
You touched on a lot of topics, and that's so timely because I was in the financial industry at that time, and it's interesting because I hope we get into how the legislation, the laws have changed to provide that. Because when I was at the investment bank and when I was a wealth manager, I couldn't contact my clients on social media because everything had to run through compliance. Even how we marketed to our Chad, are you there? Sorry.
Yeah, there
I don't know what happened there. It's still recording, but then I'm getting
muted. Yeah,
I keep getting muted. That's pretty crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just touch on that topic again. I have to turn my computer over to IT guys. I don't know what's going on here. But to get back what you were saying is you're absolutely right that the legislation did not provide for people to be in to really touch on social media. And so I'm excited because, like we were saying before, that even though I'm an early adopter, how to best use this technology, and I feel pretty adept at using it, as you can see from issues that we're having, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right. Even the glitches that I'm having it can be overwhelming. And how do you maintain that sort of connection giving that? Because, we're going to have those sort of challenges that come about. So I'm really excited having these conversations with you. I think I should make sure I turn everything over to the production studio.
They're gonna be like, Gene, what have you guys done?
Right, exactly. What are you doing? But I have an amazing team. But I am really, 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 I can't tell you how really excited I am to have you share your conversations with us, your thought process on it, and your time with us and our audience, and how to do that. And I just believe that the value that I'm going to receive, an audience is going to receive, to have access to someone like you who really wants to, and Elevair Technologies to really want to move this segment of business forward and address those issues that most of us are facing, are just going to be a value that I'm not sure I can put a price on. How can people get in contact with you to learn more about you, your background? You have an amazing story, which I really want to dig into. It seems we were going to do a promo, but this turned into an entire conversation. So, which is totally fine. That's why it's an unfettered program,
right?
But how can people get in touch with you and get more information from you and really start educating themselves as we begin to kick off our series?
Best way is email. And
okay.
One can email me at chad@elevatortech.io. And then in addition to that, I am on LinkedIn. So they can look for Chad Tonko, and I should populate. I don't think there are a lot of Chad Tonkos out there. And then that's practically it. I am not active on social media. Okay. Although I do have, I just searched myself. I suppose I do have a Twitter account that our social media team is currently running. But,
wow.
Yeah, but I don't have Instagram.
Okay.
The other, but I am on LinkedIn, and email would be great.
Okay, awesome. So, folks, you heard it here live on how to get in touch with Chad. We look forward to having you on our program. We also look forward to having those listeners who are interested in the metaverse. Chad is going to bring us all of the information. He's going to educate us and really give us some action items on how to participate in the process, because it's coming, and from all different. What I love about where I hope our conversation goes, Chad, is it really provides opportunities across the generational spectrum, right? That, listen, if you can get someone with me with so much gray in their hair to really, well, I don't have any hair, but to really get us to participate in the process from millennials. The metaverse is not just for millennials, right? It's really for everyone to participate in.
Yeah.
So I am excited, man, to have this going on with you. I thank you so much for your time. I am shooting it remote, so thank you for your patience with some of the glitches. My producers they're gonna make fun of me, going, "What have you done?" But they're gonna make you look good. So
that's great.
I'm so excited, man. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, and now we're here.
Yes.
And so we're gonna take this thing to the next level. So
Gene, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me be part of your show in this series in particular. It's certainly something that I believe that people really need to hear with regards to what's the future, right? Of work. We all have to do our jobs, and it'd be great to get insight on what's forthcoming.
That's so awesome. So, folks, we're going to be coming to you live on our YouTube channel, which is the Folks Unfettered Show at Cinematic Podcast. We're going to have as our special, I'm going to call you my co-host, Chad Tonko of Elevator Technologies. We have really done a superhero team up to actually bring you the most relevant information. Make sure to connect with Chad Tonko. You can connect that with the show. Send any questions you have to him to wearefolksunfettered@gmail.com. You have Chad's contact information. I'll be putting that on the website as well. You also can catch us on our podcast, which is streaming everywhere, and we actually are streaming in Latin as well, actually in Spanish. So which is really really encouraging for us. Chad, we look forward to our partnership in this series, which is going to be ongoing, and so we are going to sign off for now. And we're going to come to you next week. Thank you, folks, for your time and your attention. Thank you, Chad, for your time and attention. And we look forward to kicking this thing off in the right way. So we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, Gene. Take care. See you, everyone.
You too. See you. Bye-bye.